Once, there was a young monk who sought enlightenment. He was diligent, hardworking, and consumed by a desire to perfect his meditation practice. Determined, he forced himself to meditate harder, willing his breath to slow, his thoughts to vanish, and his mind to still. Yet, the more he tried, the more restless he became. That evening, his master strolled by and paused, watching the young monk fidget under the guise of stillness. With a knowing smile, he said, "You look like you're working very hard." The monk sighed, his frustration spilling over. "I am, master. I'm trying to quiet my mind, but the harder I try, the louder it gets." The master chuckled softly and said, "This reminds me of a story I heard when I was about your age. Would you like to hear it?" The young monk, intrigued, nodded eagerly. The master settled onto a nearby rock and began. It was the dead of winter, and an old fisherman stood over an open hole in a frozen river, bundled tightly against the biting wind. He had been there for hours, his line dangling through the ice, but not a single fish had graced his hook. Frustrated, the old man moved to a new spot. He thought carefully about the current beneath the ice, where the fish might be hiding. With a grunt, he cut another hole in the thick surface, lowering his line with renewed hope. Still, nothing. Again, he tried another spot, and then another. As he worked, a young boy arrived, carrying a simple fishing rod and a small saw. The boy's face lit up when he saw the holes already cut into the ice. "How lucky," he said, setting up his rod at one of the abandoned spots. The old fisherman watched with pity. "Poor lad," he thought. "He doesn't know how tough this day has been. He won't catch anything either." But within minutes, the boy's line jerked, and he pulled out a shimmering fish. The old man raised an eyebrow. "Beginner's luck," he muttered. A few minutes later, the boy caught another. The old man's brow furrowed. What in the world is going on? When the boy pulled out a third fish, the old man was staring, slack-jawed. Is he some kind of sorcerer? He thought. He noticed the boy mumbling something softly under his breath and decided he couldn't take it any longer. The old man trudged over, his boots crunching against the snow. "I've been out here for hours and haven't caught a single fish," he said, exasperated. "But you've caught 3 in minutes. How is this possible?" The boy looked up at the old man, opened his palm, and spat something into it. "You have to keep the worms warm," the boy said simply, before baiting his hook and casting his line again. The young monk chuckled, shaking his head. "Keeping the worms warm, that's an unexpected twist." "But master, I don't understand what this story has to do with my situation." The master looked at him with kind eyes. "Much like the old fisherman, you are too focused on the fish, or the end result of what you want your meditation to bring you. Perhaps you've envisioned yourself gaining a certain wisdom or achieving a specific state of being. But you cannot control when the fish will bite. You can only control warming up the worm, or in other words, staying present with the process and focusing on the actions within your control. In due time, this will naturally attract what you desire." The young monk furrowed his brow. "Master, I think I am starting to understand. So I should stop caring about enlightenment and abandon my efforts." The master shook his head gently. "On the contrary, seeking enlightenment is one of the most noble pursuits a human can undertake. But if you attach your happiness solely to achieving this or any other end result, you are inviting unhappiness. Instead, find joy in the process and fulfillment in the actions themselves. If the results come, then wonderful. If they don't, then wonderful still. True peace lies in embracing both possibilities with equal grace." The monk smiled, feeling lighter. For the first time in days, he sat to meditate, not to chase enlightenment, but simply be present in the moment. Over the next few weeks, he came to a profound realization. The universe always moved in harmony with his highest good. His role was not to wrestle with outcomes beyond his reach, but to focus on the actions within his control and commit to them consistently. And in surrendering to this truth, he discovered a deep and unshakable inner peace. If you enjoyed this video, you might love this next one too. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more inspiring content in the future.